Awesome. So thank you guys so much for being here. Respectable's 35th year anniversary party. I don't know if you realize 35 years
right.
we've been here. Almost as long as you guys have been playing.
Yeah.
Um,
so.
so I know the name Portion Control comes from your days. I guess were one of you at catering school or both of you?
We all were originally.
The
original
we all
three.
were originally.
Yeah, that's right. You were originally a three-piece.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is that where you guys met, or did you know each other before?
No, that's how.
So, now I know, pretty much every interview of every, industrial EBM band, electronic band that started in your era, the standard question is who influenced you. We all know it's Cabaret Voltaire and Throbbing Gristle. That's pretty much redundant for everybody.
Yeah.
But
Our roots really are from punk through 77.
Yeah.
okay.
And if you listen to some of our early songs, the song structures are very much like, a regular sort of punk song. So
Right.
there'd be verses, choruses, sometimes even a middle eight, or we started to learn sort of song structure from our punk days really.
Yeah.
And
What would those punk bands be?
punk bands? Big favourites have always been Wire,
Why? So,
the pop group.
the pop group, big fans of them always.
Yeah, so more not so much your traditional. Although we like the traditional, like the Damned and the Sex Pistols and the Clash, but where we really got into electronics and so on was more the sort of left field side of it.
Right.
So some of the English bands like Metabolist were coming through, Coil was starting to come through.
Yes.
Obviously, Throbbing Gristle and this whole sort of UK industrial scene was coming through.
Right. Coil later became a Wax Trax band.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like some other band that's playing tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Now, I need you guys to settle a debate for me. 'Cause I've been talking about this for a few years, and I'll say, while I used to DJ, I was more of the mainstream, 242 Nitzareb.
Yeah.
And I think during Portion Control, I think you guys only had probably maybe a 2 to 3 year span, like 82, 83, where you guys were kind of dance centric.
Yes.
And then I think you guys went back to more of a, shall I don't want to say more of a noise, but certainly more
correct.
Yes, much more eccentric and eclectic sound.
Yes.
Was there another outside influence that brought in that dance, or is that just something you guys wanted to try?
Well, I think when we started, we were more experimental and, if you like, eclectic and slightly more noisy.
Right.
And then as time went by, we kind of moved. We signed with Illuminated, and at the time the deal was for 12-inch records, and 12-inch records were starting to come out. So we kind of moved possibly to not so much consciously, did we? But
no, but that sort of.
So that wasn't pressure from a label. That was
No.
Oh no, not pressure.
That's just what was happening.
Yeah.
So you guys just did what was happening.
Yeah.
It was kind of an organic process.
Yeah.
We didn't really analyse too much. We just kind of went with our own sort of instincts.
And we probably did it a bit too quick, to be fair. I think we were probably making those electronic 12 inches probably a couple of years too soon in some respects.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it started to sort of explode after.
So the debate that I need you guys to settle for me is in the Great Divide.
Right.
There is a percussion section in there that is unlike anything that I think I've heard you do before, and unlike anything I heard you do after. Is that
Correct.
a fair statement?
Yeah.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Was that one of you guys playing, or was that theft?
No,
No,
wasn't
sorry.
theft. It was neither.
No,
it was neither. Dean will explain that one.
In 1984, probably in the sort of spring of 1984, we went on tour with a British band. They were quite poppy, called Blancmange.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, they were starting to use more
Tablas
Indian percussion.
and,
yeah.
And they had a guy called Pandit
Pandit
Dinesh.
Dinesh.
He was a brilliant Indian percussionist. And because we were on tour with him, we got quite friendly with him, and basically he came to sort of help us out when we did
Yeah,
Great
he
Divide.
Oh,
came-
so
he
he
played-
played that on.
and
He played that
all
live in
that.
virtually one take.
Yeah.
He played those.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of the percussion break in Liquid's Cavern, if you know it.
Yeah.
Which was the song that Grandmaster Flash
Yeah.
stole. Sorry, I hate to say stole.
Yeah.
Borrowed
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beat and
yeah.
made White Lines,
Exactly.
which everyone knows.
Exactly.
So
So far, your favourite bit of our music is the bit we didn't do.
sure, absolutely. But I mean,
I'm inclined to agree with that.
you have to admit that was a absolute beautiful.
Yeah. No, he's just, and probably still is, because he's a superb musician.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And the thing is, that added energy to the song, so that drove the song along. That was what was key to that
Right.
to that track, having the amount of energy it did.
So
we're not pretending that wasn't a big influence on how that track worked out.
No.
So now that you drove a bus over me on on my favorite part of your music, I'm going to go ahead and redeem myself if you allow me.
Yeah, try it.
Head Buried. This release, it seems to be so much more mature than than anything. It seems like you've been working your way up to it, but this release, to me, and I mean, one thing you'll hear me say a lot is I'm an audiophile.
Right.
And I love music that is brilliantly engineered and recorded. And Head Buried is that. I mean, if you're not listening to that album on a proper system, you're missing half the album.
No, I appreciate you saying that, because we always stress so much over our mixing and our production. So to hear you say that, I appreciate it.
I mean, it literally, my sub absolutely shakes my house on that album, and there's so many layers. I mean, certain songs, I think I can hear 6-7 different layers of things happening. And I mean, I don't know anybody, really focusing that hard. It seems like everything's so focused on production towards headphones and AirPods.
Yeah, sure.
That,
sure.
Certainly not in this style of music. I mean, of course, bands like Santana and people like that are doing real audiophile recordings.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a lot of what I would call like holographic imaging in this and great soundstage work. Is that something that was absolutely, you guys were adamant about, or is that how much of that is accidental?
I think I will say on Head Buried, what's the one before Head Buried? We're getting a bit old, we're forgetting our own material. But,
Pure Form.
Oh yeah, so the gap between Pure Form and Head Buried was a number of years. So over those years, Dean and I were both writing and producing and beginning to compile ideas, but they didn't come to fruition until we decided to do Head Buried, if you like.
Right.
So to be fair to Head Buried, it was a number of years in, with us working on it and sort of, fiddling around with it and trying to sort of perfect the little mixes and so on and so on. But one thing we've always been adamant about is to try and get, as much electronics and, interesting character into our tracks as we can. And it's the same with the other Seed releases that came after it. We're trying to put character and what we call tons of electronics.
Right.
Because electronics is, we've always, apart from the tablas, we've always been virtually totally electronic.
Now, tell me about the collaboration. There's some bands that, like, somebody will go ahead and make a beat, send it over to the other, they'll throw some keys on it, send it back. Are you guys working side by side on stuff? Are you guys just sending and emailing stuff back and forth, or?
Yeah, we email stuff back and forth more than anything, really.
Yeah. So either one of us might start a track, I might concentrate a bit more on the mixing and the maybe effects side of it, because I do a little bit more on the music than Dean, and Dean does all of the vocals, and obviously that's a very important part to us.
Right.
But equally, Dean will send me a track, and sometimes I'll just say that's it. I don't have to do anything, just balance it out, and it becomes. Other times I'll work on it, and we'll say, oh, let's toughen it up, or let's add more bass element or whatever. So it's quite straightforward. Either of us could write any of the songs. We're not precious about that.
No, it's a fairly just loose arrangement, isn't it?
Yeah. We've been going so long that if I send Dean something, I know what his reaction is going to be. And likewise, if a track becomes a portrait draw, one of the tracks we like, we know we sort of know we've nailed it, and then that's it. But then it's fairly loose anyway. We don't mind it being eclectic, and the most fun for us is definitely I hate to say it, sitting in front of the computers and the gear and just writing the music.
Right.
That's the best bit. Forget, live as well, but all the other stuff.
Is now, what are you guys like? If you're driving down the road, in your car, what are you typically listening to on a day-to-day basis?
For me, it's quite a lot of I still listen to quite a lot of the old stuff, so I'll still be listening to. I mean, it's mad. I'll still be listening to like Why, Pink Flag, all this stuff I've listened to all my life.
Yeah.
Or I'll have a playlist of some.
You can get me going on Pink Floyd. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've lived through so many different musical eras.
Absolutely.
You just pick little bits along the way, don't you? And it's a fairly eclectic mix.
Yeah, so it might be a bit of left field, a bit of sort of UK electronics, or it might be a bit more sort of, dance, techno orientated, or whatever really.
Is there anything that you like to do? Like, I mean, I imagine you've got to hit a wall every now and again where I'm done, I can't do any more. What do you guys like to do to just reset? And
we had one period when we probably went out on a bit of a limb, exactly as you're saying, and we decided that was on Filthy White Guy, the Red album. And what we did was we had like a little setup, so a couple of laptops and some Genelec speakers and a little audio sort of station, and we went to record the stuff. We went to a caravan park in Peacehaven to do, took a couple of days there. We did a chapel that's near a graveyard, that's sort of back of where I live in
just
Hertfordshire.
Camping about?
Yeah, we just sort of like had spent a little time sort of. So we imagined that the different places we were working would add into elements, and we did some of it back at Farringdon Station, didn't we? Near Liverpool Street in London.
You ever record any of nature and throw that in?
Yeah, found sounds a little bit, but not so much. But we do use found sounds a bit. But the funny thing is that one of the guys that has bought our stuff over the years emailed me and said I can't tell any difference to any of it anyway. So patently a waste of time. But
I guess that also depends on what you're listening back on.
Yeah, no, I know.
It goes back to that statement. If you're not listening on a good system, you're missing half of the music.
Yeah. But I do get what you say. Sometimes sitting in front of a blank computer screen isn't necessily
it's not conducive.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I find myself sometimes we live right here next to the ocean, so sometimes we just go to the beach and that's our reset, or go out in the ocean, go for a swim. But that's
bit harder for us to do that, but
especially where you're at. But I mean hiking. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, we tend to head more to like more dark, maybe darker scenarios and slightly more so, because again, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that sort
it's
of
more inspiring.
More of a sparky element and more of a sort of that sort of feel. But
well, I thank you guys so much for being generous with your time with us.
Absolutely.
I imagine this is your first time doing a U.S. tour, correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
So I don't imagine I'll have the opportunity to do this again unless I come to the U.K.
Well, never say never again, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate you guys so much spending the 35th anniversary of Respectables.
Really looking forward to it, I have to say.
Yes, we're so happy to have you guys.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.